I kind of had to go back and like kind of reimagine like when I first remembered boxing, because I really stopped following it probably after early 2000s, right? So like, do you remember the fight that Evander Holyfield had where he hit that dude so hard he put that knot on that dude's side of his head?
Yeah.
Who was that?
That was Hasim Rothman. I think I'm saying his name right.
I don't remember who it was, but I remember the knot on his head.
I'm pretty sure that was him. I'm like 95% sure.
But that's where I kind of went back to, like, it was hard to watch boxing in the 90s, like, unless you had HBO or you were rich.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, boxing to me was always like if I was at a friend's house. I remember Tyson, obviously, like, the first match that I remember was when he bit Holyfield's ear. Like,
yeah, I was in high school. I remember it. I wasn't, like, really into boxing at that time. But I do remember that fight, you know.
Everybody remembers that bite.
Tyson coming out of prison. And then, I don't think it went the direction that a lot of casual fans thought it was going to go.
So you grew up with me when it came to like the 90s boxing. So like I wasn't, now I don't feel ashamed because you weren't, I figured you were watching in the 80s. So
I did. I mean, my dad was a Tyson fan, and, you know, back in the 80s, like
Tyson Prime.
Like, he just got the whole country interested in boxing. I mean, because I guess it's kind of like what Joe Rogan said. I mean, his fights were pretty much executions, like just exciting, you know.
Right.
And so I remember that.
Roy Jones Jr. was popular when I was growing up, and then you had obviously Lennox Lewis was probably the biggest fighter as I was getting into the 2000s, because he was at his peak probably in early 2000s, is what I would guess. Because his last fight was with Tyson's last fight was with Lennox that I remember, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
So, like, I'm not too far off from boxing, but, like, when it came to the aspect of Hutch boxing itself, other than, like, we met just a couple weeks ago, and, like, Bobby Ragosa, that's the guy that I knew of boxing, Golden Gloves. That's all I knew of boxing in Hutch. And I find it odd that, like, it doesn't have a, I guess, more of a, I don't know, on a radar of I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, should it be on more of a radar, or has it always been like that?
You know, there was a lot going on in the amateur scene in Hutch. You know, in some form or another, I think boxing's always been here. Jim Beasley, he's an old timer from Hutch. So Jim ran the Golden Gloves for a long time. Like, I believe he was the national executor of the Golden Gloves, but you know, he had a serious job. Yeah, I believe he worked for the Hutch News, you know, family man, and I don't think he ever was really much of a name dropper. So there was
like boxers or for fighting. Okay.
Yeah, because Jim knew everybody, so you know, because that can kind of be, in my opinion, a little dangerous. You start dropping names, and even if you're trying to promote the sport, to some people you come off like you're just saying, hey, I know. Look at who I know. Look at who I went out to eat with.
It's not like today's day and age where you want to promote it because of social media and stuff like that. Back then, you wanted to let the people who had the job of promoting it promote it.
Yeah. And so, you know, plus being the national executive, there's a ton of work to do. Like, there's a ton of work to do. And so maybe there's not time to promote things the way they need to be promoted, like promoting.
Like back then, you mean?
Yeah, or even now. Yeah. Even now,
you hire somebody to do it.
Yeah, it's a job. I mean, promoting the sport, promoting the athletes, it's a job all in and of itself. So yeah, boxing was always here, but maybe a lot of people didn't know it. Like Ole and Alexander. I believe Olean's in his 60s. Olean was born and raised right here in Hutchinson, Kansas.
This is the first I'm hearing his name.
Won the 1984 Golden Gloves. Fought Mike Tyson a couple times. He was actually hired to be Mike Tyson's sparring partner when he was preparing to fight Michael Spinks back in the 80s. And nobody knows about him. And it just it always kind of bugged me because in Olean's fight career, I believe, I could be wrong, he was ranked either the number 2 or the number 4 cruiserweight in the world.
When Tyson was number 1.
Well, Tyson was a heavyweight.
Oh, he was okay.
Olean was a little smaller than Tyson.
Oh, but he was hired to spar with him.
Yeah, hired as a sparring partner. And, had a pretty successful amateur boxing career. He roomed with Holyfield at the Olympic trials. And then I think he slipped and busted his ass going down the steps and hurt his shoulder. And so that took him out of the trials. But, how people don't know about Olean Alexander.
Well, the name itself, you would think if you heard Olean Alexander, it's pretty uncommon, so it should be rememberable. Yeah,
I'd say Olean and Romero Cotton are probably the two most accomplished athletes that I know of.
Romero is definitely the best overall athlete because he was so good at so many sports. That's what blows my mind about him.
Yeah, and maybe I should shrink that down a little bit. Most accomplished in the fight game. I know Gino Grissom. I've never met him, but I know he went and played some pro ball, and everything I've heard he's done real good
shot
for
to
himself.
him. He was just good. He was great at football. He was huge at football. I mean, I don't know if he was good at basketball. I didn't watch all of his athletics coming up, but Romero was amazing at state champion in wrestling, state champion, one of the top 5 running backs in the state of Kansas, one of the top 5 boxers in Kansas. What would you say?
MMA. He was.
Oh, but did he box too?
No,
he didn't box.
Not that I know of.
Okay, I didn't know if he boxed or not. So,
no. But I would agree as far as
overall athletes. He's a monster.
Yeah, and I think Olean was supposed to play for the Padres or tried out for the Padres. And there's a book, I believe it's called Agrophobia, about a Kansas basketball team back in the day, and Olean was part of that team also. So Olean was
Did he go to Hutch High?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Born at St. Elizabeth Hospital.
Because because with boxing, in other states, Kansas has football, Kansas has basketball, Kansas has swimming. Michigan has water polo. We don't have water polo.
Yeah.
So I bet you some schools probably also have boxing too. High schools don't.
No boxing.
Oh, wow.
I had heard at one time that there was 2 states that had boxing in high schools, and I was told that was Ohio and Colorado. Now, I never looked any farther into it to see if that was actually true, but I don't know if it is. I know that because I was looking into it at one point, what would it take to make this happen? And I think I don't know if it's a law, but it's written in some state legislature that no boxing in high school.
In state legislature, or
I believe
federal?
so. State.
Okay.
It's been a long time. Can't remember exactly how that was worded, but boxing's kind of weird like that.
All contact sports probably are.
Yeah. A good friend of mine, Eddie Harrison, who's actually a really sharp guy, just he laid it out to me like this, and it makes sense. You don't necessarily have to be a good athlete to be good at boxing, because most of the higher tier athletes, they're all playing football or playing basketball or playing baseball. So, you don't always end up with the most athletic people in boxing, but the flip side to that is being athletic isn't going to hurt you in a fight, but I don't know if it's going to I don't know if it always helps as much as people think it does.
Oh, being athletic.
Yeah.
Well, but to that point, it's because like we said, schools, you can't have boxing in them. How else are you supposed to go somewhere outside of boxing? Especially boxing really isn't that big in certain areas.
Yeah.
Kansas, Wichita and Kansas City are probably the biggest areas for boxing just because they're the biggest cities.
Yeah, and the teams in those towns have both had some really good success. Luis Hernandez, his son Nico, took a bronze medal in 2016. That's the one that is jumping out at me right now. But there was several boxers.
There was a boxer in Hutch prison. Hey, not to get off topic, but I don't remember his name. But they called him Champ. He always. I don't know how true this is, but apparently somebody that used to work there told me that he looked up the video, and there is video of him sparring with Mike Tyson. big old stocky dude, but I'll have to look him up and I'll bring his name up to you. But like those types of people are the ones that are like hidden under rocks and stuff because one, they went to prison or they didn't make it out of like the city that they grew up in or didn't make a name for themselves outside of boxing.
Yeah, or just never really got out of that bad environment that led them to being in prison. That's probably the
hardest part. But that's I think that's really why we're here. Like you and I got in connection with Bo. Bo's probably one of the nicest human beings I think I've ever met.
Yeah, I like
Bo. Is he's a unique gem, and I think that if you don't know him, I think you're lacking in life because that dude will go above and beyond for you if you really need him to. And that's why I was like, man, this dude shouted me out pretty much to you. Like this is not a big podcast, but I appreciate you also wanting to come on to kind of help build this up also, but. I look forward to building this up, but why don't you tell listeners who you are, what you're about, and what you're doing here?
All right. Well, I'm Richard Gadbury. I'm from Reno County, Kansas. I grew up out on the county line, the Turon-Neola area. Moved away for several years, lived with my dad out eastern Kansas, not eastern United States, but worked in the oil field most of my life. Wound up getting divorced in 2012 and moved back home with my kids. And, as the kids got older, my youngest was pretty ornery. Oh, man, this kid was into everything. Like, you name it, he did it, tried it, and got caught. So I told him, you're doing something this winter. And we were living in Clearwater at the time. I'd moved down there for work. I worked at a chemical plant. It's like, you're doing something. We live close to the city. There's all kinds of stuff to do. And he said he wanted to try boxing. So we go to a boxing gym. I'd done some training, kind of grew up, my grandpa was a boxer. Well, the man I call my grandpa was a boxer. It's a long story. We won't get into that. But, and I used to be a sparring partner for, at that time, one of the first good cage fighters that came out of Kansas, Chad Butter. He passed away in 2010. But Chad Butter and Ricky Bolin, I was their sparring partner for 4 or 5 years. So I'd have been around it, and they started picking my brain at this gym we went to, and I kind of started helping out, coaching, and then I quit working at that chemical plant. And my grandmother, who lived here in town, she was getting older, needed help more and more and more. So we just decided to move back to Hutch. And we moved back right in the middle of my kids being into this boxing thing. And plus, I've been a fan or, a sparring partner for a long time. I've been combat sports, I guess, kind of been a part of what I was, who I was maybe. So we start a gym. We started Reno County Boxing Academy, and it was kind of off to the races from there. I think that gym was up and running for about a year, and then I got asked if I wanted to take care of the Golden Gloves tournaments for Kansas, and of course I said yes. I did that for a couple years. And then, before I knew it, 5 years had went by, and there's a lot that goes into running a gym, and I just kind of got overwhelmed by it and ended up. I guess I needed to take a break.
Burned out.
Yeah, when I said I was done, I really meant it. But time goes by, and the people that I left my gym to, and then there was another gym in Hutch that sprung up. Not putting them down in any way, just I would hear things. And then one of my old boxers, Angel Blancarta, Angel.
Well, that's a name.
Yeah, he had been boxing for me since he was 12 years old. He was, they came here from Mexico. And there's this little butterball kid standing out in the parking lot, and we're like, "What are you doing?" And he doesn't speak any English at the time. Well, I can't remember who it was. One of the adults or one of the kids spoke a little bit of Spanish. And he was like, "Well, come on in," And it turns out Angel was even at 12 years old with no training and no fights, Angel was pretty sharp little boxer. And so that's how that got started. Angel went on to, I think he won a national title on his 5th fight. And Angel's been in the top 3 in the country since he was 12 years old.
And he's at a Hutch?
Yeah, he lives here.
Never heard the name.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how many people don't know.
But like I said, boxing, like I fell out of boxing, like mainly, I would say mainly because I got introduced to the UFC and MMA.
Yeah.
Like that's really what my fallout was.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good sport too. I mean, but anyway, I ran into Angel at a mutual friend's house. I was over there to talk to them about helping me out with a website. Angel shows up, and I could tell he kind of wanted to talk to me, but I was like, listen, man, like, I didn't know you were going to be here. You didn't know I was going to be here. We can talk sometime, but let's not do it tonight. And so I reached out to him a couple days later. We ended up going out to eat, and Angel asked me if I would train him for his 2028 run at the Olympics. And maybe I got rose-colored glasses on as a coach, but I think he can do it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to make the Olympic team. So.
And in that, is there other boxers that you're going to be training with him, or is it just going to be focused on him?
So how it all started, I had actually moved out of Hutch for about a year, and I'm staying with my girlfriend over in Marion County, and we're still together, but we just kind of decided, maybe we're not ready to live together. So I came back to Hutch, and I was only in Hutch for 2 days, and I just got bombarded about boxing, whether it was from my old boxers I seen around or their parents. And one of my old boxers, my pro boxer, he kind of hit me up about maybe trying to do something. And so I just decided I'm going to start a pro promotion. And so that's where G&M Promotions came from. We're going to try to have an event in October. But then it's like, man, it's hard to run a promotion if you don't have a gym for your boxers to train at. And all this stuff kind of happened within a few days of one another, with boxers hitting me up, parents running into Angel. So I decided to start an amateur boxing gym, and that gym is Enemy Boxing Club, and start training here in a couple weeks. And
your socials, or you have Facebook for sure. Did you have Instagram or anything like that?
I don't have Instagram for either one of them yet. I'll get that done. I'm kind of stupid.
I hate social media.
I'm stupid when it comes to social media. I mean, I am still a country bumpkin from, Neola, Kansas. It's all right. Not even on the map anymore. Turon's still there, but not by much.
Yeah, I've only driven through Turon. Never went there for
don't
a reason.
blink. So that's what we're doing right now. We just got all our paperwork through. Enemy Boxing is a nonprofit. I had to construct a board because to be legal with the IRS, you got to have 5 board members. So we found 5 board members, submitted all the paperwork, waiting to hear back from them once they approve the 501c3. I actually got a meeting next week so we can get our bank account and start receiving payments. So everything's at ground level right now, but we're looking to get busy. So
are you bringing over anybody from the Reno County Boxing Academy that you had?
I actually didn't reach out to anyone because, man, that's just you don't want to do that. You don't want to go poaching other gyms' people.
I just didn't know if anybody reached out to you, but
that's where I was going. A lot of them have reached out to me, and a lot of them want to come back. So, of course, I said yes. I'd probably ruffle a few people's feathers, but
I think when we talked, you actually were in the midst of trying to talk the guy into letting you take back over the Reno County one. Was that still a thing? Or
we never really had that conversation. I tried to get a hold of him. He never messaged me back. So, I'm not.
I didn't want to touch on anything that wasn't supposed to be said or anything, but I was like, I remember you saying it, and then
No, it was definitely a thought, but I messaged him, tried to get a hold of him. He never hit me back, so we'll just train out of my garage until we can find a place. But yeah, the thought of getting my old team back together, it's a powerful thought, you know, and in some ways it's kind of flattering, I guess. When I was running Reno County, you don't really have a good sense of what people think about you, good, bad, whatever. You know, we were in the gym every night. I wasn't out talking to people. We had a job to do, so that's what we did every night, and we did it every night for 5 years. And then I leave and I come back, and you know, you hear all these good things, and I'm like anybody else. Maybe even more so. I think I might be one of them guys that, you know, maybe needs a pat on the back once in a while.
I think everybody does.
So I'm looking to restructure things differently this time. With Reno County Boxing, there's just so much to do. I managed all the boxers' pass books, setting up fights, setting up fundraising, taking care of the billing. I mean, even down to trying to keep the building clean. You ever had 15 kids that don't want to pick up any of their shit?
Oh, we had to clean the wrestling room when we were done every time.
Yeah. So, and I was big on responsibility. Like, you know, this is my gym. It's nobody else's job to keep it clean except mine. You know, thoughts like that turned out to, you know, there's plenty of holes in that. So we got a board now, and I feel like the board is all competent people. Whereas before, I mean, I just needed people on the board to stay legal. Yeah. I wasn't picky and choosy about it. And I'm a little pickier and choosier now. You know, we want people that actually care about boxing and want to further the sport, because the program, I feel like what the program can do is undeniable. I mean, in 2023, we had 8 nationally ranked boxers. In 2024, we had a Olympic trial competitor. And, you know, then Angels, you know, just got done winning his 4th national title. So I feel like the program's proven. And that's not me. I'm saying the program as a whole. I feel like we can train and develop competent boxers. So this go around, we want to do the things to make that better.
So have you named anybody yet that's already on your board, or is that any information that you want to give out?
No, we can give it out. So Efren and Leslie Morales are on the board. Efren was a pro boxer. He's out of Garden City, but he lives here now. He's agreed to come on and help me out. Derek Chappelle, Chief, the barber from Diamond Cuts Barbershop, myself, and then Toman George. You might know George. He works at the prison. He's part of the SST team.
We talked about him, yep.
Yeah, his son used to box for me, and he was actually the first one to say he wanted to come back. So Toman's all about supporting his kid, and his kids, I think when I left, his son Tate only had 2 or 3 fights, but he was coming along. And I think in the year I was gone, everything I've heard is that he's developed into a pretty good little boxer. So his dad wants to support him, and so he's on the board. And you know, we actually have our first meeting next week. We got to have a meeting minutes to take to the bank so they know we're legit, so we can get our bank account started.
And what is your board? And not to be bored, I'm just clueless on like what the board actually's job is. Do they like vote on stuff? And
yeah, they vote on stuff.
Everybody has jobs, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we're gonna try to delegate and appoint. You know, like we want somebody to take care of billing. We'd like somebody that would want to organize fundraising. We'd like somebody that is just there to help out, you know.
Team effort rather than one person doing it all.
Because, man, I've been down that road, and
I get burned out doing one thing. And I mean, even though it's supposed to be a fun thing for me, and when I'm on a deadline, especially, that's when I'm like, man, I'm going to get burned out of this real quick. So that's why, I mean, sometimes you have to slow down.
Yeah, and there's responsibilities, and running Reno County Boxing, if I made a mistake on paperwork, if I didn't get something turned in, there's some kid out there that's going to lose his opportunity to compete. And so there's some real responsibility there. And sometimes I don't think, people kind of have a tendency to minimize things. Like, well, it's just a boxing, or it's just this, or it's just that. And it's like, no, there's some real responsibilities here with some real consequences if you're not on top of your stuff. And I was managing all of that. The people I had helping me at the time, I love them to death. I got nothing bad to say about them. Just a few of them weren't really dependable, as far as like getting things done that they need to get done, showing up on time. And I don't know what it is with boxing coaches, but, coming to the gym drunk, I can't stand that shit. So there was some of that, and it's not always as easy to deal with as you might think. Because, even when the people are doing things like that, there's good things about them, right. And you don't want to. So for me, it was hard to know where to draw the line. So I ended up just shouldering a bunch of it and internalizing it, and just ended up getting burnt out. And, that was a lesson I learned too. Like, I can handle a lot. Most people can handle a lot, but regardless, sooner or later you'll crack. And
right.
And I cracked. And so I left for a year and kind of recharged and refreshed. And I didn't come back to Hutchinson planning on getting back into boxing. But, like I said, parents call you and old boxers call you. And then, you got a kid with a real shot. And I've always said that, we're in this to do one thing for one reason. We want to train and develop somebody to represent this country at the highest levels. And that's the Olympic Games. And I know coaches that have been in this game their whole life and never had a shot. And here we are, Hutchinson, Kansas, town of 40,000, and we might be looking at our second shot. So it's hard to say no.
Well, and on that, like, to get things excited, you're setting up this event for October. Is your Olympic the guy that's trying to out for the Olympics going to be fighting in this event?
If we can find him a match, absolutely. I've already talked to him about it. It'll be a pro-am show. So right now we're looking at having 8 pro fights and 4 or 5 amateur fights,
like an undercard and then the main card. Okay.
Yeah, and of course, I hit Angel up about it, and another one of my boxers that had been with me for a long time, Nehemiah Chapman. They're good to go and excited. They want to. The guys always liked fighting at home, so they get to go out and box in front of their families, and it's a good thing for them. So if we can find them matches, that's what we'll do. Angel's a pretty good boxer, and plus he's a cruiserweight, fights at 187. That's hard to match. But if we got to spend a couple bucks to have somebody come down, that's what we'll do.
So is you said fighting at home? That's going to for sure be in Hutch. And
yeah.
Have you guys got an eye on a venue yet, or?
Well, no. I've been calling around, asking around. It's not all about the money, but it takes money to do things. Yep. And so we're trying to find a venue where we can retain at least a portion of the food and alcohol sales. But, a lot of these venues, they have alcohol rights that somebody has purchased or concession rights that somebody has purchased. And, fair enough. That's their business. But we're looking for somebody to, kind of help us out, because that money, goes back into enemy boxing. And that's what we use to take these guys all over the country. I mean, these boxing tournaments are 7 days. And somebody's got to take a week off work. We got to feed them the whole time. We got to, we usually do an Airbnb. But between the Airbnb cost, food cost, gas, registration for the competition, losing a week's worth of work. You're talking $4,000, $4,500 that it costs to go to these tournaments. So, and that was another thing that burnt me out. Just always trying to round up the money to go. So, that's another thing we'll be doing different. I think we instead of trying to make every tournament, I think we've decided we're just going to go to 2. We're going to go to the Junior Olympics and to the National Championships for a couple reasons. So your ranking is based on your points, and you get points even if you lose. So, but you get the most points at the Junior Olympics and the National Championships. Plus, winning those 2 tournaments places you with a shot at getting on the high performance team at the Olympic Training Center. The other tournaments, if you win them, you get nothing. So it's pretty much, you spend all the money and take the time off work, and the boxer doesn't really get much out of it. So I think we're just going to go to the 2. And luckily for us this year, the Junior Olympics is in Wichita. So
wow.
That'll save us.
Is that like a new Goddard facility, or is that going to be?
I think it'll be at Century 2. It's been there 2 or 3 times.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never knew it was there.
Yeah, it's crazy how much stuff.
Aren't they developing a Olympic training center in Goddard? Is that or is that just
I haven't
aquatic
heard
center?
that. I haven't heard that.
Oh.
It might be.
I used to live there, and that somebody had said that, so I just didn't know if that was really a thing or not.
Well, I don't know the inner workings of it, but I know USA Boxing seems to be more than happy to work with Nico Hernandez, because he's still down there. I know a couple years ago they had a pro-am fight before the Junior Olympics, and Nico fought in because he was an Olympic medalist. So they they still work together when it makes sense.
I think they had one that Wichita State put on. Was that Wichita State, or was that the city of Wichita that put that on, this last one with Nico and?
I don't know. That was
a big fight.
Yeah, that was kind of in the middle of me being mad about everything. I didn't even go. So I was real burnt out.
That was the biggest fight that I heard of in Kansas, probably for television.
Well, I was actually approached about putting together the amateur card on that show, and then I don't know what happened. I ended up quitting, and then a few months later, they ended up canceling the amateur portion of the card, and I never asked what went wrong, but I know it didn't end up happening.
So what's your goal with the event happening in October? Are you wanting to have like just a card that people buy tickets for? Or are you going to have stuff that builds up to it? I mean, yeah, we're going to be doing these podcast episodes. We got this one this is just the soft opening to what we're going to have coming in the future, because we're going to promote the hell out of this fight. So like we're going to be at Diamond Cuts Barbershop with several fighters. Are you going to have like how the UFC does, like fight pressers and stuff like that?
We've talked about doing a press conference. A lot of it's just going to be how that works out. A couple of these guys that we're looking at fighting on the card, a couple of them are from Western Kansas. I know there's one out of Texas. A lot of it's just going to be their availability and how they're feeling. And if we can find a place to do the press conference. I know I've been talking to Sam Conger, I believe is his last name. He's the manager at Old Chicago, and he's expressed some interest in working with us on some stuff. And we've got a really, really rough draft for a fight card, and there's a couple, I wouldn't call them retired pro boxers in Hutch, but let's say inactive, that they've expressed some interest. I know Michael Glenn, a good friend of mine, his thing was, well, my kids are older now. I want one last fight in front of my kids. So, and Mikey Glenn's down to fight anybody. I've always respected that about Mike. Like, you could call him at 10 o'clock at night and like, we need you to fight Evander Holyfield tomorrow. I'm like, what do I need to weigh? Let me get my shoes on. And he'll go do it. So seeing Mikey enthused and pumped about taking a fight at home, it makes me feel good. So, and then there's a couple boxers that were from Garden City, and then I'm trying to talk Efren Morales into taking a fight. So Efren was actually a pretty good boxer back in his day, and then got married, had a couple kids. At some point, there's just not enough time in the day to train and fight and go to work and take care of kids and be present in your home. So I'm hoping he decides to take one. We'll see what happens. We're kind of in the beginning stages of all that.
Has anybody tried maybe reaching out to Nico to see if he wants to, I guess, at least just be a part of it or anything, even if you don't want to fight?
I was actually going to give his dad a call. His dad's actually a pretty good friend of mine, and see if he wanted to come make an appearance anyway. I mean, I don't know that we could afford Nico Hernandez on our first show. And then another guy, Leo Pla out of Denver. So the first live fight I ever went to, Leo Pla fought at. And I was pretty much a fan ever since that day. And I ended up tracking him down for the last Golden Glove show I did, and he was our special guest out here. Now, Leo, you look up fighter in the dictionary, and there's a picture of Leo's ass in there. I guarantee it. He's just a hardcore, Hispanic fighter. I mean, he does bare knuckle, no rules, MMA, boxing. He's done it all. I talked to him, and he's agreed to come out. We'll probably try to get together a little seminar. People come, pay $25. Leo trains you for a couple hours, and that way he's able to make a little bit of money while he's out here, hopefully, and make his time here enjoyable. But so he'll be here, and then of course I'm gonna talk to Olean, see if Olean wants to come. Olean's always came to our shows, and we give him a table and take care of him. And Olean's just good to have around. I really enjoy talking to him. So yeah, I mean, there's a good possibility that we get Nico here. I actually ran into an old UFC fighter in Omaha the other night, Houston Alexander. Fought Kimbo Slice back in the day.
He was one of the first fighters of Kimbo Slice, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That was before, right after Kimbo Slice came out of the backyard.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, not very long, but he, we didn't talk about anything, but he sounded like he was definitely down to participate in some form. So maybe we go pick Houston up and bring him down and have him at the fight. There's all kinds of things we could do. So,
well, like I said, we talked about having we're going to have several episodes for this. We're going to be at Diamond Cuts. And you spoke about having Mike Glenn, the owner of Diamond Cuts, of course. What other names can people expect to be hearing also outside of that?
Well, I'm going to try to get Efren Morales down there. I'll probably get Angel Blancarta and Nehemiah Chapman down there. Just, they're amateur boxers, but like I said, those guys have been with me for years. And I think it's important that people know about what they've accomplished.
Right.
Nehemiah's a clean-cut, quiet kid, doesn't have a bad word to say about anybody, but he can fight. And I've always had a lot of respect for Nehemiah in a competition sense because I think Nemo's got around 60 fights, and Nemo doesn't turn down fights. I remember we were in Nebraska one time, and he didn't weigh in for his fight. Well, if you don't weigh in and try to get a fight, you have to buy a ticket. And I was like, Nemo, go buy your ticket. He's like, why do I got to buy a ticket? It's like, because you didn't weigh in. And he's like, give me my book. I ain't buying a ticket. I'll go take a fight. And he did all that to save $10, so he didn't have to pay to get into the fights. So
did he win at least?
I don't remember if he got a fight that day or not. But Nehemiah was just always down to compete. Like it wasn't ever really much of a question, really. We're going to Nebraska this weekend, and you just knew he was going too. So, in some sense, I guess I feel like I owe them guys something. And plus, Angel's doing good right now. I think it's important that his town knows what he's doing and supports him in some fashion, be it money or just a pat on the back. Hey, man, good job. Thanks for representing Hutch. I think those things are important.
They are. Well, like with Romero, like me and him, like we've wrestled since we were kids. But like when I started this, I never really wanted to reach out because I didn't want to think that I was just using him for his name. So I didn't reach out for like the first 3 years. And then I just left him a short little message saying, hey, if you ever want to come on, that's a soft invite. he thumbs up it. So I was like, okay, so maybe he's thinking about it. But I didn't know if you had plans on having him coming on like at the barbershop or if there was any talks with him.
I haven't reached out to him yet. I plan to.
I just don't want him to think that I was using you to get to him or anything like that.
I don't think he thinks
because we got in contact by accident. So
yeah. No, me and Romero still talk from time to time. I like talking to him and hanging out with him. He's ornery. Man.
I always thought he was trying to imitate Mike Tyson when he talked when we were growing up because I just thought he was messing with me. But like when me and Romero, like when we would wrestle, like we'd have to cut weight. And right after I actually make weight, like I would always bring huge jugs of apple juice. And like we have this ongoing thing. Like he's like, is that apple juice? I was like, it's apple juice. It was apple juice. And he would always ask me for some apple juice after we got done weighing in. We'd chug the shit out of that.
Yeah.
But that's just an ongoing thing. I love Romero like that. I'm proud of that dude. Like outside of like the stuff that's happened in his life, the dude's turned everything around. Like he's owed nothing but a congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a good dude. And, it's just his schedule, and I believe he's the head wrestling coach at AKA right now.
Oh, he is.
So he's
still up in Kearney?
No, he's in California.
Oh wow,
San Jose.
Oh, not the side. Oh, the side one's just MMA.
Yeah. Okay. So and AKA, I mean, American Kickboxing Academy. That's one of the top MMA gyms in the country. So I mean, he's probably busy and got a lot of responsibility.
That dude trains with Daniel Cormier. Trains with the Russian
Khabib.
family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nurmagomedov.
Yeah. So, I'm planning on reaching out to him, see if I can catch him at home. And
I just want him to be for sure know that I was not using you to get to him because I sent the message like probably a year ago.
Yeah.
But it was several years after.
I don't know if I'm the guy to use to get to him anyway.
Well, hey, but you've had lunch with him. I haven't seen him since probably 15, 14, somewhere around there. Yeah. So you've seen him more than I have.
Yeah, well, we actually had lunch here a month or so ago. Just kind of be. Yeah, and I think he's in town this weekend. I know they had a daddy-daughter dance he was talking about, but
up at the hotel.
I've just been all over the place with the Super Bowl and just we just daily life.
Bowl, so at 11 a.m. I don't think I've recorded earlier, but not a in-depth conversation like this. So.
Gotcha.
But I had a couple questions. Like you're doing boxing and stuff. Is there anything that's holding you back from wanting to do MMA, or is it just more hassle and headache, or like, is there anything against training them? Or
I got nothing against it, but it's a totally different sport. And my I'd say the bulk of my knowledge base isn't MMA. It's boxing, and
I think it'd be cool to have a hybrid card. Like you have MMA fights on one half and then boxing fights on the other.
I don't even know if that's legal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean the athletic commission has
Has it
rules.
ever happened?
I don't know.
Well, because you have what is that on Amazon that they always have A1 or something like that. They've got mixed fights on everything. They got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like one fight could be all Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The next fight could be Greco-Roman wrestling. The next fight is just MMA, kickboxing. Like it's like a hybrid card that they have. I think it's called A1, something like that. Or K1.
I don't know if boxers that are registered with USA Boxing, if it's not a sanctioned USA Boxing event, they can't compete in it. So
there's 4 points, you mean, or like for
at all?
Oh wow!
There's definitely some rules surrounding that now, and I don't know what they are. I could see it possibly being able to happen, but you'd have to have your cage, and then you'd have to have a ring. So I don't think USA Boxing wants their amateur boxers.
Well, that's why I said, like, if you had the undercard being MMA, and then the undercard being your boxing, so like that way you just take the cage down. I just didn't know if that was a possibility.
It might be. I know.
Be unique. At least.
Ernest Bell's always thinking outside the box. Maybe I'll hit Ernest up sometime.
Because you got the other MMA fighter here in town that's fought local. I haven't seen any of his fights yet. Roman
Arturo.
He works at the prison with. I've known his brother for years. So
yeah, I think he's got a couple pro boxing fights. I was actually going to reach out to old Art, see if he wanted anything to do with this show in October. So
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of names here that do more than just your shoot jobs and your day-to-day 9 to 5s, but like it's pretty wild when you hear like I've heard half the names that you've ever said other than like the Nico Hernandez or Romero Cottons. And
well, like I said, I think that kind of falls under the same thing I was saying when you're in the gym every night.
Yeah,
you don't.
They're doing the work rather than putting on the capes.
And I'm not good at social media. I always felt silly posting stuff because I don't know. Sometimes, you see people putting out real emotional messages.
I was looking for a picture for you to put on like a thumbnail or so. I was like, damn, this dude does not like taking pictures.
No, I don't like being in pictures. I mean, you can go back through Reno County Boxing's page. I'm in very few of them. The news had came to the gym a couple times, and I had my buddy Jake do the talking for me. I don't know. I don't like the limelight. I feel silly, I guess. And I think it also puts a lot of undue pressure on the boxers, and they're kids, they haven't quite learned how to handle things like adults. And, you get all that unnecessary pressure on you, it can cloud the issue. And the issue's going out and winning. So I always tried to be mindful of that.
Right.
But we all know somebody that's dying to get on TV, so I usually had them do it.
I don't want to be on TV. I'll do this, but
yeah.
I mean, this is small.
Even pictures, it just never was my thing. I always told the boxers, like, I'll never steal your thunder. Your loss is my loss, but your win is your win. So it's just kind of how I feel about things. I don't know. People are free to think and do whatever they want, but that's how I've always seen it. So,
well, are you doing anything else with other podcasts to help promote this, or are you going to try to just promote the hell out of it with like clips from these? And stuff like that?
We're staying right here in Hutch, man.
I'm saying podcast. I don't know if there's any podcasts in Hutch, but like I don't collab with anybody that I know of. But
well, I got pretty fortunate. The second I mentioned wanting to do a podcast, I was in Bo Earhart's office, and he mentioned you, and that night we met and had some food, and I'm totally happy with doing things right here at home with other Hutchinson residents. Yeah. Like I said, I'm all about Hutchinson. I care about this town. My family's in the ground here, and as far as amateur boxing goes, we've been able to do some pretty cool things, and I want to keep doing that, and I also want to expand that out into the pro boxing side. So,
well, it's going to be fun for sure. But like when we're setting this up, like I just had it in the back of my head that you've been in boxing probably since you were a kid.
Yeah,
I was like, well, maybe I was wrong.
I've actually never had an amateur boxing match, and I used to be really bothered by that. Because
to try to train, you mean, or
I used to be really bothered by that. It's like, man, what am I doing? Like,
look at all the trainers in the UFC that are successful. Like half of those guys have never had a pro fight in their life, and
well, I didn't know that at the time, and it really bothered me. So I hit up my buddy Eddie Harrison about it, and Eddie's a pretty competent dude, Eddie was a good fighter, and so I trust Eddie's opinion, and so I kind of talked to him about it, and what he said made perfect sense to me. He's like, well, number one, they're totally different jobs, and most fighters are kind of ornery, like to walk on the wild side, and they need somebody that they trust and respect to guide them.
Well, I think it's because it's an individual sport, though, too. So, like, individually, like, you're not focused about 5 people that you have to coach. You're focused on one person at a time, usually. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I say that is because, like, basketball coaches who were also NBA players or NFL coaches who were also football players, like, those guys were on a team, so they know it at different levels. Like, you as a trainer for fighting, that makes more sense than a team sport, if that makes sense to you. So, I don't see,
Well, and what I think I've found out about it is that, a lot of boxing coaches, it's like, and I've seen this happen in my own gym, and like when I see it going on, I didn't know what it was in the beginning, but I've seen it enough times now that I feel like I can recognize it pretty quick. These coaches act like there's some kind of mysticism around boxing, like all the doors are locked and they're the only ones with the keys, and that's just not true.
That could be a reason why we never heard some of these names.
Yeah. Well, so as a coach, for me, I think most of it is creating that atmosphere, doing things to keep your team together, and being available to the boxers when they need you. You're kind of like a secondary parent in a way, and I always had a really, really hard line in my gym. There was a real clear expectation in there, and, it governed us all, even myself. And it's kind of like anything else. Some days that hard line may seem like too much. Some days you hate it, but somewhere along the way you begin to trust it, because it's never going to go away and it's never going to change. You know exactly exactly what's expected of you. And a lot of the boxers at Reno County had never been coached by anybody but me. And, then I left and they were left with new coaches and that maybe didn't have that hard line. Cause that was always a criticism I received, was that I wasn't nice enough. And, maybe I wasn't at times, but there was also another side of it. When a guy lost a tough fight, it was me building them back up, me and their team. And in some sense, I wanted the boxers to dislike me, because if they disliked me, the team would stick together. If everybody was trying to be my buddy, then the team wouldn't get along. It's kind of like running a crew
Right.
of roofers, right? You're always kind of walking that line between friend and foe.
It's a self-check thing, so you don't have to micromanage nobody.
Yeah. And also, I was talking to another buddy of mine, and his opinion was, it kind of creates a form of stability. And you don't know how much you depend on that till you don't have it anymore. But like some of the boxers, we get to talking about old times, and they're like, man, even the smell when I walk into these new gyms, they're not the same. The music that gets played, because I played instrumental rock songs. Like, we didn't have words in there. We didn't play music with lyrics just because, well, I know how I'd feel if I walked into a place with my kid and there's all kinds of profanity on the radio. Right. It's like, hey, man, you listen to what you want in your car, but turn that shit off. I don't want my kid hearing it. So we played mainly instrumentals, and I think it was Angels, like, man, even the music just doesn't motivate me, and I played the same playlist for years. It was the same thing every day, same time every day. And like I said, I think it kind of creates a form of stability, I guess.
Right.
And
it's just it's a routine.
Yeah. It's you know what to expect. There's not a lot of unknowns. And then when we were out on the road, I always tried to make things. I tried to put the least amount of stress on the boxers. Like, I worked a rotating shift, and even if I worked all night, I drove. And when we'd go out of town, every boxer had a bed, and I slept on the couch. I made their meals. I wanted them to worry about nothing but making their weight and winning their fight. And so as the story goes, a couple of these boxers say they go out on the road and things aren't really like that. So
they actually preferred the way that you did things rather than how it used to be, how it is now.
Yeah. So, and hearing stuff like that, number one, it makes you feel good. Number two, it's like, well, maybe I wasn't
wrong about everything.
Right. Yeah. Wasn't.
Are you going to attack that differently with this new venture part of things, or is it going to be pretty much it worked for you the last time, but you got stressed out, or is there anything?
Oh, like I said, a lot of it will be structurally, having a competent board that wants to be involved, and we're bringing on some more coaches. And, I'm sure it'll take.
I'm saying with your routine stuff like we talked about, are you going to try to attack that? Like people said you weren't very nice. Are you going to just still stick to that?
No.
Have you changed that mentally?
No, because, I'm kind of like everybody else. I mean, in the context that I am who I am.
It's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was no doubt. I mean, there was parts about it that could have been better and, might not have been so good. But I think let's call it an error. It'd be wrong to say that there weren't parts of it that were really effective. And so I think the best thing I can do going into this new venture, I guess, is just do things to minimize the stress. Have competent people around that want to show up on time, that want to see these guys do well. And not that the other people didn't want to see them do well, but maybe they're just going about it the wrong way.
And have we mentioned your business partner, by the way? Because I knew you wanted to bring him here. I could have said him literally right here, but
I was going to let him come and introduce himself, so we'll save that one.
All right, well, that's fine.
But yeah, I'm not going in any of this by myself this go around, which is it's comforting to me. My girlfriend, we've been together for a couple years, and I can't get so buried in boxing anymore that I'm taking time away from my personal life. And it's I've been real clear with everybody. I'm not going to do that. So yeah, I think the best thing I can do going into this next one is just do things that minimize the stress. I've never been a micromanager. You give people jobs to do, or people volunteer for jobs. I don't care how you do it, just do it. Those are the kind of people you want around, that, they run into a little problem, they don't freeze, they handle it. Because, running a gym and putting on these shows, I mean, I got a job to do, people. Like, we can't go around putting out fires all day. You take care of it, handle it. That's what you get paid to do.
So to kind of get the end of that part going, and we'll wrap up here in a few, but if I had a kid and I wanted him to get trained by you, like, what would you say would be the biggest difference between a trainer that is in this area versus you? Like, why should I choose you? And I'm not trying to make you put a trophy on yourself, but like, what would you say your method is versus somebody else's here in town?
That's a hard question to answer. I mean, I don't always know what I do.
Well,
right.
pat on the back, like what were people saying about you that made you feel better? Like, that's probably where I would say that's where your answer's at. So, like, what compliments did you get?
That they appreciated the strictness of the program, that it had good bones, like get your hands up, be in shape, hold the center of the ring. Don't take one step back for that guy. And if the kid isn't really doing those things, come up with different ways to make it resonate with them. Because not everybody learns the same way, and it took me a couple years, but, we'd put together several drills, and I don't want to make it sound like that's all my idea. I seen things or heard things, and
you learn from other people.
Yeah, of course. Eddie Harrison, Pat Villa. Pat Villa passed away a couple years ago, but he was without a doubt my mentor. And then Eddie Harrison always had some good insights on things. And, the things they showed me, I took the good and tried to make it better and left the bad. And so sometimes, even though you're doing like group workouts, sometimes you got to tailor something a little more for one kid or the other. Mm-hmm. It's an emotional sport, right? We all grew up around people that, I ain't scared of this, and that's all bullshit. If you got a brain in your head, you're scared.
If you're scared, I think you care.
Yeah. And so, sometimes kids have a harder time dealing with the emotional burden. You climb up in that ring in front of a couple hundred people that don't know you, and you can get stage fright and get in your own head. And you got to help them work through that. And I think the best way to do that is just be honest. What you're doing is a scary thing, but we got to try to learn how to manage that. I know me as a young man, it really hurt when I found out all my heroes were big bullshitters.
Like who?
Chad Butter, the guy I first started being a sparring partner with. Not that Chad wasn't a good guy, not that he isn't still one of my heroes. He passed away in 2010, but, I was really young then, and I heard all these people around me. I'm not scared of this. I'm not scared of that. And I remember sparring this Navy SEAL one time, and I was terrified. I was terrified. And so, you hear all these people that you look up to saying this stuff, and you're over here like, I'm shitting peach seeds over here, fellas. And then, you mature and grow up a little bit, and you find out that it's something everybody has to deal with, that it's old. It's an old part of human beings, the fight, flight, or freeze, Medusa, one look at her turns you to stone. That's being scared stiff. And that's one of the oldest stories ever told. I mean, that's how old, dealing with that feeling of fear is.
The only people I think that aren't scared, and I'm going to say this just because of how I've seen them carry themselves, probably the Diaz brothers. Like I don't think they're scared of shit.
Yeah, well,
I'm dead honest.
And they're probably psychopaths.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like those are like, if you say you're not scared, then you're probably either a sociopath, psychopath, or serial killer. One of the two. Like there's something going on.
And once I kind of got more into boxing, like Cus D'Amato, Cus D'Amato was another guy I don't think ever had an amateur fight. He had an eye injury as a kid. I think some people say his dad gave him the injury. But he was a big philosopher on dealing with that stuff.
Did he get a doctorate or something like that?
I'm not sure. I hadn't heard that. But
I know that he was like big into has nothing to do with boxing is what he taught, and then like what he applied when he was teaching Tyson is what I guess kind of overlapped in the boxing ring.
Yeah, it was he had I guess it's a quote, saying something about emotions are like 75% of the game. And as the competition gets stiffer, it becomes more of a mental and emotional game.
When there's more on the line, there's more emotion.
Yeah, and the people you're competing against are more skilled.
Right.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff like that to deal with, and I think the best way to help a kid through that is to just be honest with them. And I think that's one reason I would think people would want to bring their kid to me is because I'm never going to try to be something I'm not. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to do the best I can and be honest. I think that's important. So,
right.
And maybe the proof's in the pudding. So,
well, we're definitely gonna have more fun about that, and I can't wait to talk more to the guys that you've actually trained or worked with, because I think that they're gonna have more insight on that answer. Like yours would be you're honest. Like I'm not gonna bullshit you or whatever like that. Like I think I don't know if you're familiar. Like that I do the pro wrestling announcing. I work with a guy that does it, but not to intertwine the two because they're completely different things. But do you know who Paul Heyman is?
I know the name. He was an announcer.
No, Paul Heyman is he's a wrestler's manager. He's a manager of wrestlers. So he's managed Brock Lesnar and stuff like that.
Okay, he was on the. Okay, yeah, had a ponytail.
Yep.
Yeah.
The leather jacket was on WCW.
I've seen him on TV.
Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
He said something that really said clear, the idea of wrestling. Yeah, it's not anything like boxing, but managing how you deal with a wrestler or deal with a boxer, I think is pretty much the same way, because what he said is that you have to trust me, because if you don't trust me, then this isn't going to work for us. So you're putting somebody over in wrestling, you're doing the same thing in boxing, just you're not doing it in the ring in front of in front of them. They have to do that. You're doing it in the gym when you're training.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between, but I think he said that perfectly. If you don't trust me, then we can't get this to work. You have to trust me to get this to work for you. The process.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot, it's no single thing. Like I said, it's creating that team environment, having that gym atmosphere. We didn't have air conditioning. It'd be days that gym was 115 degrees.
Wrestling, we had air conditioning. You just didn't turn it on.
Turn
the heat on.
Yeah, and people think it's mean or inhumane, and it's like, we train to win here, people. We might get a call to fight in South Texas tomorrow, and their body's got to be acclimated to the heat. So everything was kind of tailored to being able to go win, to be able to drag out of your body what you needed to drag out of it when you needed to drag it out. So
Who's the best? Who do you think the best is at preparing for that? Like that you've seen out of all fighters, like getting prepared for heat, getting prepared for a certain crowd or whatever. Like, have you ever noticed like certain fighters do that better than others?
Yeah. I guess the first one that comes to mind would probably be like, and this is just because it's so recent, probably Justin Gaethje. That guy, he always seems like he's ready to go, whether it's 5 rounds, 3 rounds, whoever it is. He always seems to have have a handle on himself and doesn't stop trying to win. So yeah, I just watched that Pimblett fight the other night.
That was
so I thought Gaethje would get him, but it's a fist fight, man. You never know.
Pimblett was I think he's underappreciated in the fact that like he can take blows just like Justin Gaethje could.
Yeah, and
that's only going to go on longer now.
Yeah, he's skilled and he's tough and the guy wants to win. So and he's in good shape, and that's a dangerous man.
I made a prediction. I said that Paddy Pimblett was going to be more successful in MMA than Conor McGregor was. He just wasn't going to have Conor McGregor money.
No, well,
that's my prediction.
Maybe. I could see that happening. But I don't know, as things played out, I don't know if Conor McGregor's the guy you want to be right now. So.
No, but like people are like when we think of UFC, like Conor McGregor, I think his was like the top of the tier like promotion for cards, like because he again he took that pro wrestling aspect to it, and was playing heel in the crowd. Like that's what made him sell out those arenas. Like I would argue that, but that's why I said Paddy Pimblett's going to be successful in the ring. Other than that,
his when they were interviewing him before he fought Tony Ferguson.
Oh yeah,
yeah, about David Goggins. Who's going to carry the boat, son? Because it ain't him.
Yeah, I got that book up there. Yeah,
yeah, and great then. Probably one of my favorites was Chael Sonnen. I stole one-liners from Chael Sonnen that I used in mediation against my ex-wife. I mean, that's how good
Conor McGregor took what he did in the UFC from Chael Sonnen when he was talking on the mic. Yeah. Chael Sonnen's the only person that could take that crown.
Yeah, and he was funny. I mean, it was.
No, everybody was like, nobody expected this, and I think it started probably back when was it Anderson Silva when he was fighting him? Is that probably when
That's when it started, because I'd watched him before that. He fought. There was 2 brothers, Dan.
No,
and
he fought. He was the coach in Tough, the Ultimate Fighter, before he fought Anderson, wasn't he? Or was that after?
No, he didn't make it big till he fought Anderson, because he fought a couple guys. There was 2 brothers. One of them was named Dan. I don't remember the other one. And then he fought Nate Marquardt and Yushin Okami. And I mean, those were all good guys. And he just took them down and beat them up and broke them down. And then he started picking that fight with Anderson Silva, and it all.
Oh, he beat Anderson Silva.
Yeah, I'd followed him. I liked watching him fight, even when he fought for a Bodog fight.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Bodog. Some wealthy guy was trying to get a fight promotion going, and he had a little tournament.
Sounds like somewhere from Texas,
maybe. But Sonnen fought in that tournament, and he was just a tough, gritty guy. And I mean, it was real clear what he was going to do. He was going to take you down and beat you up. Stop me if you can. And
right.
And it took people several years to figure out how to head him off. So
yeah, because that's right. Because Chael Sonnen he did do Tough, but that was when he was facing John Jones. Mm-hmm. Anderson Silva happened way after that, or before that.
Yeah, and I actually just watched that fight between him and Anderson Silva the other night.
Beat him up the whole time.
Yeah, and
he did what Anderson does to other fighters, which was weird.
And to lose with just a couple minutes on the clock.
I think it was seconds.
No, it was minutes. Like I said, I just watched it. It was like 2.5 minutes.
Oh, wow. I know it was 5th round.
Yeah. And, I think I don't know. He did an interview after that fight. And, his face is still marked up. And
he had the glasses on.
No, it was, I think the interview was on a program called Fighting Words.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Okay.
And Oh, he was just wearing it. He was heartbroken over that deal, and I don't blame him.
That's got to be the worst loss probably in UFC history. Like, you're winning that entire fight, and if you just stay away from him, it's done.
Yeah.
And you can't stay away from Anderson Silva either.
No, and I don't know if Sonnen was that type of fighter. I think he just wanted to go out and dominate him. So
I think a lot of his mic work probably got got to Anderson a lot more than anything else, and that probably fucked him up in his training and everything.
Yeah. So you go in there mad, you're probably gonna overcommit to things that you normally wouldn't.
Well, Anderson Silva got cocky. That's why we're not not many people talk about him now, just because of how he went out.
Yeah,
and that's what's wild.
Well, and
the leg break was disgusting.
Oh my God,
worst leg break I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen that happen too.
I was in the middle of Hooters with my stepson, and we had to stand, so we sat with these random people, and we ordered some appetizers, and you heard the snap in the entire restaurant, and everybody. I've never heard of a restaurant get that loud and then that quiet in that amount of time.
Yeah. Oh man! And then Weidman did the same thing,
and that was the first kick that he threw too.
Was it?
Yeah, that was his first kick that he threw.
Man,
like I've seen it three. Well, I mean, I don't count Conor McGregor's because he didn't throw a kick; he stepped backwards on it and it snapped. But the other one was like a guy that died. Like he didn't die from it, but he died several years after it happened. He was the first guy to ever have it happen during a live fight, and then Anderson's, and then Weidman's, and then McGregor's because it was the same bone, just different.
Yeah, man,
that's got to be the worst thing.
But. Yeah, some of the injuries them guys get out of there.
Oh no,
I remember
shin kicks are getting disgusting.
I was watching. It was The Ultimate Fighter, and they had a fighter out of Topeka on there named Gabe Wagner. I actually seen him fight years ago. Just a big dude, and he got cut, and it was one of the worst cuts I'd ever seen. But they showed a little clip of him on the table getting stitched up, and it was quick, but it's like, I swear to God, I just seen that guy's skull. That's how.
Oh, was that the forehead cut or?
Yeah, it was hairline somewhere in there. You could probably Google it and find it, but I was like, oh my God.
I don't like that part of the fighting part. Like, I love the fights, and that's what I think the UFC's done. They make every card feel like it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, why they're so far above boxing now. For the pro side of things.
Yeah, I'm excited for Dana White's Zuffa boxing because I think that's why the UFC's been so successful. They're able to put on the fights that people want to see.
Yeah, not the money that we hear about that the fighters are going to make.
And then people downplay their pay system, but you're getting to see the fights you want to see. So
it's the most popular individual sport probably out there now. Yeah. Besides when the Olympics are going on, is what I would argue.
Yeah, and
surprised it's not in the Olympics, to be honest.
It might get there. Who knows? Judo, everything else is there. Boxing's there. Judo's there. I mean, then pro boxing. Yeah, I'm glad that them guys can make that kind of money, but at the same time. There's fights out there that people wanted to see that we never got to see because I'm assuming because they couldn't come up with a deal on the money.
But if you think about it, he's not just doing it with what was pay-per-view now Paramount. He's doing it now with that the little show that is not tough, but the other one,
the Contender,
Contender Series. Contender Series, yeah.
Okay. Couldn't remember if it was that or looking for a fight.
It was that, and then I think that turned into the Contender Series, didn't it? Because I don't know. Those fights on there, because that's how the dude he just fought with the crazy hair. That's how he got found. Was a Contender Series.
Oh, O'Malley.
Yeah. Like nobody would have ever got. And then I think that fight that he got promoted on was actually commentated on by Snoop Dogg when it happened. Really? So it's wild. Yeah. Like he's giving you fights that you want to see, and it's not even a sanctioned fight that they're going to make money on. Yeah. So that's it's
as far as building the business and carrying it forward, it's pretty hard to knock him.
He's probably the best president of a company for sports because he says the stuff that we want to hear. Yeah. He doesn't sugarcoat nothing. He's honest. Yeah. He's like, I'm not going to tell a fighter that he can't do something. I mean, as long as he's not hurting somebody, killing somebody or whatever, he's not going to allow that to happen. But if a fighter wants to promote something, I have nothing to say otherwise.
Oh, and he got into some hot water when him and his wife got in a slapping match ringside.
I thought that was at the bar.
Well, maybe it was.
Yeah, it was a videotape of him at the bar. They were drunk. He's like, and he stopped drinking now. So
Yeah.
at least that's what he says. I don't know.
I don't know. Something like that gets caught on film. I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of people with something to say about it.
Well, I mean, that dude has all reason to be as successful as he is. And he had the mob going after him for a while.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's when he was, because he was involved in boxing back in Boston and didn't, something like Whitey Bulger's people were trying to extort his gym or something like that.
Yeah, well, I guess somebody tried to call him or whatever, but he had already moved to Vegas.
Oh.
Like, he didn't know that they were after him, but they called him, asked him where he was at. He's like, I'm in Vegas, and they didn't believe him. So, yeah. Well, at least that's what the story that I heard, but I don't know if it's actually.
Well, better him than me. I mean.
The mob for fights, so.
Yeah.
But anyway, is there anything else you want to talk about before we cut this off and then get people ready for the other episodes with some of your guys going on?
Only that Enemy Boxing Club will start training on the 20th of February. Working out of my garage right now, but I've called around to some pals in the boxing world, and we'll be able to use their ring for sparring. But if anybody's interested in coming down and starting a membership, reach out to me on Facebook, Enemy Boxing Club, and the profile picture has my phone number and our email address on it. And so we're looking to get guys in the gym, probably train them up for 2 or 3 weeks, and then we're going to go compete. So.
Well, not to put you on the spot, why don't you give the city of Hutchinson something to look forward to, like to get them pumped up for this fight that you're going to plan?
Oh, well, right now we're planning on having this show the 17th, either the 3rd of October or the 17th, looking for a venue right now. So if anybody out there has access to a big warehouse that they'd like to rent out for a one-night show, I'm not hard to find.
Your stuff will be in the description also.
Yeah, so we're definitely looking for a venue right now. I've got a couple other venues here in town I'm trying to get a hold of. I've been trying to get a hold of Josh Gooch for the sports arena. I tried to email him on the HCC website, but for some reason it didn't go through, so I messaged him on Facebook, and I don't know. I know sometimes if I don't know somebody, I'm not even looking at their messages. But Mr. Gooch, I'm trying to get in touch with you. So yeah, 3rd of October or the 17th of October is what we're looking at.
All right. Well, I thought that's an episode, and we'll get these other ones rolling out. We'll be coming to you from the Diamond Cuts Barbershop. Is that a company or is that his company? Is that like
that's his barbershop?
Okay.
It's in that little strip mall on 11th next to Subway.
I didn't know if it was like a chain or if it was his business.
Nope, it's just him and a couple of the other barbers used to cut hair at another barbershop here in town, and they just wanted to go do their own thing, so that's what they did. And they're a good group of guys. I've always got along with them. And they're good at cutting hair. They got a good atmosphere down there. You go down there and you can kind of talk and joke around where, you never want to have a place where they're talking about religion and politics. And
right.
Chief does a pretty good job about, just keeping it light down there. So it's a good place to go.
I've just gotten my hair cut from the same barber since I was 5.
Hey,
and that's
barbers and doctors, it's like once you find one you like, you don't stray away.
Well, 5 years is a long time. My dad's even gotten his hair cut since he was a teenager from him. So Mike's Barbershop here in town. So
where's that at?
It's right behind Daylight Donuts on Main.
Okay.
He used to be, back when McGraw's was still pretty popular, there was like, I guess, a side hotel that he was a part of, like in a little lobby. That's where he first started. And then he moved to where the Family Affairs shop is now.
Okay.
In that little like trailer looking thing on 4th.
Okay.
Like right across from Dick's.
Right by the railroad tracks.
Yeah, and that's where he went to there. And then he moved to 3rd Street over by the deputy warden now. He does karate classes. There's a karate gym on 4th now, or there always has been. It was right, he was right next to
Tommy something. I've seen the sign.
Crap. I feel like a dick because that dude, he came to my mom's memorial. Tommy. It'll come to me. Tommy. Oh.
Karate Tommy.
Karate Tommy, yeah. But yeah, he moved. He was right next to him for almost a decade, 15 years. Right there. Yeah, right in that same little strip. And then now he's right next to his wife's shop over there behind Daylight Donuts. So, but yeah, just make sure you guys follow his companies on Facebook. He'll get some Instagram stuff going, and then we'll have more episodes for you later.
All right.
Later.
Thanks, Bobby.